Hey, so now welcome to Amta Learning with Mr. X. So now today we're going to have introduction in biology. So now what do we understand? What is biology? So biology is defined as the study of living things or rather organisms. So there are several branches of biology such as we have botany, the study of plants, zoology, the study of animals. We have ecology, the study of interactions of organisms with each other and with their non-living environment. We also have biochemistry, which is the study of chemical reactions that occur in living organisms. Then we have entomology, which is the study of insects. There are also other branches like genetics, which is the study of genes. So there are various branches that we are going to go through, that is, as we start biology, but these are some of the important branches that you can take note of. So now let's proceed and look at the characteristics of living organisms or living things. So every time you hear the word living organisms or organisms, it's just one and the same as living things. Then the characteristics of living things may be summarized by the mnemonic, which is Mr. Graphic. Mr. Graphic. So you can surely remember the characteristics of living organisms by using the mnemonic, which is Mr. Graphic. So let's see what each letter mean in this mnemonic. So now when we start with Mr. The M, it is representing movement. Then when we look at R, it is representing reproduction. Then the G is representing growth. R is representing respiration. E is representing excretion. The other E that we can see, this part, the first one, it is just coming from respiration. So then the next thing we have is the F. The F is representing feeding or nutrition. Then I is representing irritability or sensitivity. Now when we look at the last part, which is the C, it is representing cells. So in order for you to make this much easier, sorry, here I was seeing another E, a little bit of blurred image which I had, but here it is just so clear. I'm sure we are not having a problem with the mnemonic Mr. Graphic. Then let's proceed and look at each of these characteristics. So now when we look at movement, it is the ability to change position, or in other words you can also define it as is the process by which a living organism change its location and posture without external help. So if there is external help, like when you look at a vehicle, it has an engine, which means that we are not going to classify as living organism. The movement of any entire organism from one place to another is also called locomotion. So now when you look at the way we move as human beings walking, that is locomotion. It is not just movement, but it is locomotion. But for plants, you can see them, they just shake the leaves or maybe move towards light. That is going to be classified as just movement, not locomotion. Hope there is no problem with movement. Let's proceed and look at respiration. So respiration, in short, it is the method of producing energy, or in other words you can say is the release of energy from food substances inside living cells. So there are two types of respiration. So these are aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration is the release of energy from food substances inside living organisms in the presence of oxygen. So, aerobic respiration is the form of respiration in the presence of oxygen. Then the other type we have is anaerobic respiration, which is the release of energy from food substances inside living cells in the absence of oxygen. Aerobic respiration yields more energy than anaerobic respiration. So when there is oxygen during respiration, we're going to produce more energy compared to when there is no oxygen. Now, what is growth? Growth is just, in short, the increase in size and complexity. So we can say growth is a permanent increase in size, mass, number of cells, and complexity of organisms. So as organisms grow, they become more complex, having confused or complex systems. So when it is just a single cell, we can see it is not so complex, but when the cells begin to increase in number, we are going to see the mass will increase, the size will increase. So that is what we mean by growth. So we'll continue with the characteristics of living organisms in the next video. Continue watching and subscribe to the channel or subscribe to the page. So the page, it's on Facebook. I'll add the link. Then for the other things like the YouTube channel, it is Amta Learning. Okay, thank you.